It's 3:43 a.m. I've just rolled credits on Venus Vacation Prism, Dead or Alive Xtreme. Glancing around, my room looks like the aftermath of a pizza-filled apocalypse, complete with paper plates, empty soda cans, and unopened mail piling up. How long have I been at this? My phone screams at me with 78 missed calls. Friends, family, and, oh yeah, my girlfriend. All wondering if I'm still alive. Meanwhile, on my monitor, Tamaki stares back. Her eyes whisper promises, tempting me back into Venus Island's embrace. But before I abandon reality completely, let's retrace how I got here.
遅いな。フェス始まっちゃうよ。
Venus Vacation Prism kicks off with the character Misaki cheerfully informing you of your promotion to boss of Venus Island. There is likely a reason for this sudden career shift, but I was too busy gripping the question, what exactly is this game? Gone are volleyball matches and rock climbing adventures. Instead, this game instructs you to photograph the lovely Venuses of Venus Island, train them, and amass followers to win something? I'm not sure. I think it's like a trophy or something, but I can honestly care less. Moving on, within the first hour, I found myself smirking at the idea of Pokemon Snap with anime models. But I am a professional reviewer, so I'm going to take this seriously. The Dead or Alive Xtreme series first debuted as a spin-off from the main DOA fighting franchise, shifting the stage from various arenas to beaches. Past titles relied heavily on playful minigames, such as volleyball or some sort of racing, but the main appeal has always been the fan service. Let's be serious. Critics sometimes wrote them off as shallow, while fans embraced them for their laid-back pace and lighthearted tone, allowing them to hang out with these characters in a more casual environment, and maybe even getting to know them better. Venus Vacation Prism builds upon that heritage by focusing more on conversations and character development than actual sports, giving players a chance to see their favorite DOA characters in a more personal setting. Anyway, let's get back to the plot. After a brief photo shoot tutorial with Misaki, you meet a DOA character who needs no introduction, Hanuka, who will quickly assure you that she is indeed 18 years old.
ほのか、18歳、学生です。血液型は AB 型です。
Gameplay unfolds across chapters, each culminating in a review of your photographic prowess. My early attempts were nothing spectacular, and I kind of felt a little ping of embarrassment at my low scores. I had assumed a waifu photo simulator would be a walk in the park, yet come to find out that the demand was more than I anticipated. And that's when it happened, boys. The Venus Tamaki stepped into frame, and I realized the real challenge would be resisting her charm. Yes, Tamaki might seem overbearing at first, wielding her boldness like a sword. However, after a few chats, you can catch a glimpse of that vulnerability lurking behind her confident exterior. Other Venuses tried their best to claim my attention. I'm looking at you, Hanuka, with your playful banner, and Nanami with your gentle sweetness. Yet, as the self-proclaimed baka boy that I am, I pledged loyalty to Tamaki from the moment she locked eyes with me on that beach. Each day or through intermissions, you get to check your in-game phone. This relatively plain interface lets you chat, arrange training sessions, or schedule some dates. Honestly, the cell phone overlay is kind of a joke, and the developers should have spent way more time in the presentation here. And while navigating the messages is simple, the branching system during text and conversations offers surprising weight to your choices. Spend too much time with one girl and watch the others respond with disappointing responses or sarcastic remarks. You are effectively writing your own story on the island drama, albeit one told through playful daily interactions. Conversation trees in these text messages can be kind of repetitive, but each girl's personality shines during face-to-face conversations. Still, I sometimes picked the wrong dialogue option and felt genuinely guilty about souring Tamaki's mood. Yes, that brief moonlit walk with Hanuka was not worth the fallout. Tamaki, please, it was the dialogue choice's mistake. I swear that if I could turn back time, I would. But moving on, the game's subtle narrative arcs had me nervously double-checking each reply. Taking photos in the game is pretty easy, with the option to snap quick pictures during conversations or enter the camera options and tinker with lighting, angles, and character gazes to capture more appealing shots. I feel like early on, you can breeze through without caring about composition, but as relationships deepen, you realize how to capture the best photos. Before I knew it, I was adjusting focus, framing entire scenes, and waiting for the perfect moment when Tamaki's mischievous grin flashed across the screen. It sounds silly, but there is real satisfaction in crafting a memorable shot. Apart from photography, Venus Vacation Prism includes a training minigame that can raise the girls' relationship levels. These stats matter for in-game challenges, unlocking new events, or improving your social standing with the girls. The process is not complicated and only really depends on how you do in these training minigames. Another cornerstone of progression is your boss rank. It's a slightly hidden factor that improves with each playthrough. Higher ranks mean your photos will receive more enthusiasm from fans, which helps you rank up and get more followers in a shorter time to speed up additional playthroughs. If your first run is full of lackluster shots and unimpressed onlookers, don't worry, the game nudges you towards replaying to gradually unlock your full potential. At first glance, a game this focused on swimsuit-clad characters might feel like shallow fanservice, yet beneath its doki doki exterior, Venus Vacation Prism offers relationship mechanics that reward thoughtful, honest interactions. Dishonest or flippant replies can trigger negative reactions, forcing you to pay closer attention to each girl's demeanor. I will admit I was caught off guard by how quickly I found myself invested in these virtual friendships. On a serious note, if you do find yourself struggling in social situations with women, I think these games are a nice introduction to navigating these conversations with confidence. It's not one-to-one though, and relationships should never be treated as a game, but experiences like this are helpful. And although I may be joking in this review, on a serious note, even while you're gooning around, you'll also be learning how to handle yourself in these kind of complex situations. Visually, Team Ninja excels at rendering the tropical island setting. Character models avoid awkward clipping and stiff animations, and each Venus stands out with distinct gestures and expressive faces. The environment itself may not offer a wealth of activities like older DOA Xtreme titles, but it still includes a dreamy holiday vibe. I should add that certain characters like Fiona and Nanami do not get the attention they deserve once Elise shows up and commands the room. Still, no matter how commanding Elise may be, she never really dethroned Tamaki in my eyes. And that's on God, Baka Boys. Completing the main campaign unlocks more intimate scenes for each Venus. Your highest intimacy level carries over to new playthroughs, encouraging you to experiment with different routes. True ending, additional outfits, and special conversations await those patient enough to romance each character. Yet, every time I hovered over another girl's route and tried to go on dates with them, I felt the pangs of disloyalty. Tamaki had been my ride or die, you guys, and I could not bear the thought of letting her down. The thought that a game so unapologetically playful could make me hesitant during a dialogue screen was both humbling and also hilarious. I had signed on for a comedic escapade, something to kill time between bigger releases, but instead I found a rabbit hole of social mechanics, comedic banter, emotional attachment, and I got to hang out with Tamaki. Venus Vacation Prism Dead or Alive Xtreme will appeal to fans of the DOA universe who enjoy a chill, lighthearted experience. If you love the original Xtreme entries for their breezy vibe and tropical flair, you may appreciate this new renewed focus on building relationships. On the other hand, if you prefer action-heavy gameplay, you might find the photoshoots too leisure. Still, for anyone who appreciates quirky character-driven narratives, especially those who don't mind a heaping dose of swimsuit spectacle, this is an entertaining detour. Despite my first impressions of this being a fanservice-filled waifu simulator, Venus Vacation Prism holds surprising depth, bringing it to the rank of fanservice-filled waifu simulator with heart. Sure, it caters to the Baka Boys, but it also houses genuine relationship-building elements that can catch even skeptical players off guard. The premise is light and sometimes absurd, but by the time the credits roll, you might find yourself genuinely invested in which girl you chose to spend time with. I arrived expecting a novelty game brimming with fanservice, but what I discovered was a tropical playground that merged comedic escapism with a dash of genuine emotional resonance. Whether it was Tamaki's snarky texts or Haneka's enthusiastic winks, each interaction felt personal enough to keep me hooked. And now, as I stare at the phone notifications, reality reminds me it's time to take a break. But something tells me Tamaki is patiently waiting for my return. In the end, it's a journey that merges silliness and sincerity, showing us that, if anything, a bikini-clad photo game can have a beating heart beneath a sun-soaked surface. Noisy Pixel is giving Venus Vacation Prism Dead or Alive Xtreme an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth, and subscribe to keep up with all our future content.